Scene change, a bright early morning. Christian's group was ready. They stood proudly together with a flag in hand. Christian looked over and teased Aloys, "You don't think you're trying to look cool in front of someone who just got his butt kicked by me, do you?" Aloys, ego bruised, yelled at him to shut up. Then Aloys looked at the sword Christian was carrying. "You're such a show-off, why are you carrying that, you can't even use it." Christian, emboldened, provoked him, "It's stronger than a mace, want to kiss it?" The young man stopped arguing and got to the point. "Anyway, Commander, let's go, lure Karajov to the altar." His subordinates answered loudly, "Yes, sir." He divided the group, those on guard duty, "Follow me, we'll guard the altar." Another clear response followed. At the same time, Christian noticed a strange creature watching their every move. Aloys, annoyed, said, "You always pick fights, answer me, you rude Christ," with a defiant and teasing tone. Whatever, they split up and went to guard an altar. A soldier raised his voice to shoo him away. "Please, go guard over there, you're blocking the way." Christian laughed, "Okay, I'm not lazy, but don't come crying to me later if you mess your pants." Hearing that, he scolded Aloys, "You idiot, stop wasting your energy before the hunt." Then he turned to Christian, "Useless guy, go guard the flagpole." Christian casually replied, Yes, this useless guy will protect the flagpole with all his might." He sat down, leaning against a cool tree trunk, relaxing and thinking about how those guys would do. "They'll fall into the trap soon. I even brought the dagger and the pill Grantel gave me." I almost heard Grantel's heartbroken cry, cursing, "You demonic bastard." On the other side, Aloys and his subordinates suddenly noticed something. Christian also told himself it's coming. A bizarre bird appeared. It was Karajov, a level 4 magical beast. Its adorable face made Christian spray something. Why does it look so stupid? Karajov tilted its head in confusion. A subordinate turned and asked, "Are you ready, young Master Aloys? Please begin the suppression technique." Aloys nodded and rushed forward. He opened the magic formation to begin suppressing the beast. The surrounding subordinates also took their positions to provide support. Aloys approached the magical beast with extreme caution. Suddenly, its eyes turned blood red, emitting a terrifying aura. Then, like a violent actor whose cute scene was cut, it now resembled a frenzied monster. Aloys couldn't help but be startled. Then, with one blow, it gave him a loving punch to the face. Aloys flew back. A subordinate quickly ran over to check his condition. "Young master, are you all right?" Purple smoke gradually spread throughout the air. They panicked and cried out, "Poison!" An elite mage jumped out and formed a defensive formation. Christian observed them struggling behind the protection. "It won't work," he said. "Because that thing is enraged because of the stimulant." Aloys struggled with the situation. "We took some antidote beforehand, but at this rate, we're in danger." The others also tried to reassure their teammates. "Everyone, hang in there, try your best to stop it." The magical beast became increasingly violent, charging at everyone there. Then it gathered its strength, preparing to strike Aloys, who was right beside it. He could only raise his hand to protect himself. But nothing happened. Aloys widened his eyes in surprise. Christian used his sturdy sword to block the beast's huge beak, not forgetting to taunt him, "Count Tiraman's a bit weak, even the standard-bearer has to join the fight." "I'll gladly save you from this situation if you call me brother." Aloys hesitated. This madman, why? But Christian interrupted him. "What are you doing? You don't have much time." Looking around, he saw that his teammates had lost their ability to fight due to the poison. Aloys gritted his teeth, his body trembling. In the end, life came first. Swallowing his pride, he asked Christian for help. "Damn it, fine, I accept, but you better keep your word." With a swing of his arm, Christian landed a devastating blow on Karajov. Then he reached out and cast a magic formation. Christian's suppression technique manifested as thorny vines that wrapped around Karajov. Aloys watched in astonishment. How can he use the suppression technique? Christian mocked him again. "What a country bumpkin, thinking you're the only one who can use that magic." he secretly thought, as long as it's not a secret technique, an intermediate technique like suppression is nothing. And then Christian gently grasped the chain suppressing Karajov. He gripped the thorny vines tightly. From there, Christian leaped onto Karajov like a beast tamer, mounting it. Affected, it raised its legs, growled, and ran off. Christian, riding Karajov, sped forward. Alois was startled and called out, "Wait, that way is." Christian gave a meaningful smile. Without fear, he and Karajov charged straight into the dark crack. The deeper they went, the more chilling the killing intent became. Christian spoke to the beast, "This is your first time experiencing Gehenna's malice, isn't it? Be afraid." Karajov suddenly raised its neck. And then it successfully broke free from Christian's suppression. Seeing this, he grabbed the short sword on his back. Christian decisively stabbed Karajov. A while later, Alois's group caught up. "Hey, you bastard, are you all right?" He panted, reminding them, "This is an extremely dangerous cave, we need to get out of here immediately." Christian sits quietly next to Karajov and says, "Don't be so rude, but what should we do?" He gave a pearl. Alois and the others also realized that this was a medicine, not a black medicine. Alois pursed his lips, suppressing his anger. The subordinate angrily shouted, "Damn you, what are you going to do?" "If you hadn't interfered," Alois interrupted, "enough," and left. "Hey, you scoundrel," Alois awkwardly scratched his head, "thank you for saving my subordinate." "Thanks to you, none of us were seriously injured," Christian was surprised. The culprit of this whole mess, Christian, began to feel remorse. He felt guilty knowing he'd messed with the poison, making him feel even worse. "But I still have to do what needs to be done." Christian then approached Alois, bullying him, "So, call me big brother, you promised." The latter panicked. "What?" he questioned. "Oh, you intend to break your promise," Alois retorted. "I never promised anything, and I'm 2 years older than you." Before they could finish, they felt a strong tremor within the cave. The subordinates collapsed under the painful pressure, crying, "Young master." Alois wondered, "What's going on?" Christian thought, "Don't tell me." A shadowy figure gradually emerged, its eyes glowing brightly in the darkness. Facing the mysterious being before him, Christian felt the situation becoming difficult. A huge demon gradually appeared before them, growling, "It's been a long time since I've seen a toy like this." Christian recognized it as a Gehenna demon. Alois drew his sword, shielding Christian. "Run, you're an outsider, save yourself." Christian turned to look at the bat from earlier that morning. He pulled out the gram knife. He threw it straight at the bat. The blood-red bat was struck and vanished instantly. It was Simon's magic that was used to spy on Christian. He was annoyed. He wondered when he'd been discovered. He'd planned to stop the demon after observing it, but now the bat he intended to use for teleportation was dead. Simon calculated, "It'll take me 5 minutes to get there, even using all my blood magic. If I'm too late, everyone will die." Simon transformed into a red smoke and quickly flew from his hiding place. The demon, seeing the fallen dagger, said, "Interesting, what are your intentions?" He smiled confidently, "Oh, I just don't like being spied on." The demon chuckled, "A dying man with many worries, how interesting." He assessed the demon. Compared to the demons I've faced during the Age of Destruction, he's a low-level demon, but at least a 5-star. Currently, he's not someone I can defeat. However, Christian pointed to the sky and created a sleeping potion. Alois's subordinates, upon inhaling it, fell into a deep sleep. Alois turned and questioned, "What are you doing? Why did you put them to sleep? We need to fight together." Seeing Alois unaffected by his potion, he sighed, "His magical resistance is truly remarkable." Without hesitation, Christian punched Alois in the stomach. "Enough talk, sleep." He fell back, immediately falling into a deep sleep. The demon tilted its head, questioning, "You intend to hand them over to me?" "Okay, I'll spare your life and bless the person who left behind the lives of those humans, but Christian mocked you for liking to talk nonsense, right? My rule is to never get involved with you." he swung his sword towards the demon. The demon exclaimed, "Gruwad, a commendable idea. But a holy sword you can't use is just a piece of iron." He swung a powerful blow. He parried the blow with his sword. But the force was too great, sending him flying backward. Christian, in pain and spitting blood, struggled to look up. The demon grabbed him and lifted him up. "I'll give you a chance to hand them over, and then I'll spare your life." Unexpectedly, Christian spat in its face. The demon cursed, "You scoundrel." Christian laughed, asking, "Who says I can't use the holy sword?" He then wrenched himself free, flipping several times in the air before landing. Christian continued to channel his magic. Light radiated from his body. It reformed his broken sword. The demon was astonished. "How can a brat like you use the power of light?" Christian smiled confidently. "Oh, you finally sense the danger." The demon, enraged, attacked. "How dare you, I'll kill you." The demon's magical power gradually holds Christian's body down. This time he took a few steps forward. Christian unleashed the power of the sea-clefting radiance. With a slash that cleaved the earth, he struck down at the demon. The demon was utterly shocked by Christian's actions. A scream of terror erupted as the demon was finally attacked. Christian watched the monster's armor fall. He panted heavily. Looking around, he realized he had overexerted himself. Then Christian collapsed. His eyes glazed over. Christian recalled Evan's questioning face. "What, you saw my sea-clefting radiance and copied it?" Christian admitted, "Is that right?" Evan shook his head wearily. "You're a monster." The sea-clefting radiance, a light that cleaves the deadly sea. Ironically, despite mastering this technique, Evan sadly admitted, "But I can't become the light of the Meyer family." "But Christian, you will surely become a light that shines everywhere." In a vibrant, colorful landscape, long slender fingers touched the shimmering water. Christian vaguely awoke, unaware of what had happened. That mysterious voice spoke with a darkly intriguing tone. "My name is Mafina," it said. "The rescue team has found them. Treat them quickly, bring the magic potion here." Mafina continued, "The first throne in the 7 worlds, in Gehenna. I eagerly await your actions there." Christian closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Back at the Marquis Tiraman's castle, he groaned in exhaustion. Christian sat dazed on the soft bed, muttering, "I thought I'd been here for 2 days, what a waste of time." He examined himself, his body seemed fine, the black potion. Seeing it on the table, Christian rejoiced, it was still there. He looked at the black orb in his bag and sighed, "Mafina, I've gotten unwanted attention." Occasionally, demons who'd received blessings from gods from an early age grew exceptionally powerful, but who cared? That's something only evil spirits get. And a 7th world demon isn't exactly high class. Suddenly, a noise outside caught Christian's attention. Count Tyramin, head of the Tyramin family, entered. "Christian, I hear you're awake, how's your body?" Aloys stood behind him. Christian quickly rose to greet him, but the Count waved him down. "It's all right, don't stand, just listen." Christian sat back, feigning ignorance. Count Tyramin then recounted, "Yesterday, we assembled an investigation team to check the cave. It seems someone interfered with the magic formation sealing the entrance to Gehenna. Fortunately, it seems a demon was inadvertently summoned, but even that fleeting moment was enough to cost many their lives." Christian, lying in bed, replied, "I understand." He mused, "They believe it was an accidental summoning." "That's right, because they couldn't even imagine I'd extinguished it. No need for explanations, this works in my favor." Count Tyramin paused, then said, "However, I want to begin with an apology." Recalling the half-elf, he continued, "I apologize for treating you so poorly. I only listened to rumors that you were useless." Then, Count Tyramin bowed deeply, "Thank you, you are the savior of the Tyramin family." Christian waved his hand dismissively, chuckling, "No, I'm a member of the Dark Mage clan. I just did what I had to. We're family, after all." In reality, he was elated. Even if it hurt his conscience, he'd muddy the waters. if he couldn't get the black potion legitimately, he'd sneak it out. Count Tyraman's expression darkened, he softly repeated, family. He smiled, regaining his composure. Yes, if there's anything I can do for you, just ask, as long as it's not impossible, I'll do it. Christian appeared thoughtful. Then. I hope the Tyraman family will let go of its old hatred towards our Khazar family. This surprised Count Tyraman. Imagining the heads of both families shaking hands, he added, instead of our current antagonistic relationship, where we constantly clash, I hope we can build a friendly yet competitive relationship where we can plan our advancements together, a relationship worthy of our blood ties. He hesitated. This, Christian interrupted, I'm sure you know, Count. The reason our two families are at odds is because of the main family's machinations. If the branch families cooperate, the main family will feel threatened. It's a plan to keep us as their guard dogs. Count Tyraman crossed his arms. Are you suggesting a rebellion against the main family? He replied, I have no such intention, I just believe we shouldn't be held back by their mistakes. Count Tyraman praised, you think so far ahead, how insightful. Christian continued, thank you for the compliment, so, will you accept my request? He sighed, it's been a while since I've contacted Count Ca, no, ridden, that brat. Hearing this, Christian smiled. Thinking about the cooperation between many races, he commented, yes, if we just unite our forces step by step, we can build a stronger front in the era of destruction. Suddenly Count Tyraman turned and patted Aloys on the shoulder. Son, why are you just standing there looking? You said you had something to say. He was startled and opened his mouth. Ah, that. Aloys shyly offered a gray spherical object, saying, take this. Christian, seeing this, exclaimed, ass pill. Aloys recalled and explained, when I entered the cave, it was on the ground. Since you showed no signs of waking up, I carefully took it with me. Christian teased, if you feel grateful enough to give me anything else, feel free, you can give me as much as you want. Aloys angrily threw the ass pill into his hand. What, this brat, I swear. At this moment, Count Tyraman burst into laughter. As you said, because I'm grateful, I'll give you a gift. It was a summoning stone capable of containing a level 4 magical beast. Seeing this, Christian was astonished. This was an extremely rare item. Count Tyraman added, furthermore, I'll make a report so you can participate in the Dark Holy Rite. I wish you good results. He smiled gratefully. Thank you, sir, for the gift and encouragement. The Count replied, you're welcome. Then, father and son turned and left, saying, now, get some rest. Christian closed his eyes and smiled happily in farewell. After they had left, he said, why don't you come out already? The blue curtain fluttered, revealing a dark, shadowy aura. A figure appeared, bowing respectfully. Indeed, it wasn't a coincidence that you discovered me. I didn't expect you to be able to see through my concealment, something even Count Tyraman couldn't do. Christian looked at him and explained, I smelled blood. Simon politely introduced himself. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. I am Simon, the head butler of the Dark Demon clan. Hearing this, he suspected, is the head butler a subordinate of the elder? Anyway, where have I heard the name Simon before? As if suddenly remembering something, he panicked, clenching his fist. Damn it, could it be the leader of the Blood Shadow Demon sect? The Blood Shadow Demon sect made no distinction between the Magic Empire and the Light Realm. They were a frenzied organization that reveled in the slaughter of innocents and terrorism. Their leader was a demon who had reached the 8-star peak, and in the final stages of the Age of Destruction, he reached the 9-star level and became the 10th Demon King. Christian recalled the bloody battlefield. He couldn't count how many times they had almost died because of that leader, let alone Simon. Of the same bloodline as the slaughterous Demon King, Christian paled, pondering. Simon smiled and exclaimed, I didn't expect the young master of the Count Khazar family to be so talented, and that's not all. Even the ability to eliminate another demon. Christian's eyes widened at this. How did he know? He had definitely dealt with the copy. Could he have seen the Death Sea breaking light? Christian shook his head, denying, I don't understand what you're talking about. Simon mumbled, feigning ignorance. Very well. He recounted his suspicions. After entering the cave, even the demon's corpse had been completely annihilated, leaving no trace. It wasn't an inverse summoning, but a complete vaporization within the cave. I must admit your skill, young master. Could you explain how you did it? Christian frowned at this. Simon said menacingly, please note that what you tell me now will be reported to the clan elder. You can consider this an evaluation. Christian abruptly interrupted, I don't understand why I should reveal my techniques to you. Simon seemed surprised, repeating, what will be reported to the clan elder? He calmly interjected, if I were the clan elder, instead of a small person who only answers every question, I would prefer a predator who keeps its claws hidden until the last moment. Simon's eyes widened at this response. He crossed his arms and chuckled, you're quite an interesting person. The young master spoke, more importantly, shouldn't you apologize? Simon couldn't help but wonder, for what? He replied, normally, it's very difficult to distinguish between inverse summoning and complete annihilation just from the traces. That's why Count Tyramin mistook it for inverse summoning. However, why did you believe it was complete annihilation? Christian raised his hand, think about it carefully, it's simple. He pointed at Simon with certainty, it's because you are the one who summoned the head butler. Christian smiled confidently, a case of summoning a demon where a clan member almost died. What would happen if the clan elder heard that you caused this chaos? Simon, realizing he had been exposed, lowered his head and admitted, all right, I'll take responsibility. Christian waved his hand, it's all right, just keep it a secret. He hesitantly asked, sorry. Christian said clearly, instead, remember this, you owe me a great favor. Simon's eyes widened at this. He asked, is this a deal? He replied, if you think so, then that's great. Simon smiled, his eyes gleaming white before his body gradually turned into black smoke. Before leaving, he said, I understand, I won't forget the favor you've shown me, young master. It was a pleasure meeting you today. I hope to see you again soon. I'll count the days until you come to the main clan. Christian sat silently, listening to his last words. He looked out the window and sighed, hopefully, he will play an important role in the age of destruction, so I must definitely build this relationship. To change the future. Inside the room, 2 suitcases, enveloped in blue energy, floated in the air. Marie announced, the preparations for going home are complete. Christian leisurely stood looking in the mirror and replied, very good. There was a knock on the door. It was Aloys. He hesitated before speaking, hey, are you getting ready to leave? Christian pointed his index finger at him, provoking him to address him correctly. Aloys angrily asked why. Christian winked yesterday in front of the count, but I still let it go, but the promise is a promise to call me big brother, okay? Aloys didn't immediately argue back, I told you I'm 2 years older than you. Ignoring Aloys's retort, he got straight to the point, so, what do you want to say? The other boy replied, I'm here to warn you. You said we're family, he continued, after hearing that, I feel it's wrong to do this to family. Think about the guy with the prominent curly black hair, be careful, I'm sure you've realized, but the one who hates your presence at the dark holy ritual is young Master Loin. You know that even at 2 stars, the direct and branch families aren't on the same level, right? Aloys listed Loin's numerous advantages, the best magic medicine, the superior skills of the direct family, the blessings of dark magic, and the better starting point for direct descendants, far exceeding what they had in the branch family. You'll be easily targeted, Christian smirked. Confidently cutting him off, he said, I'll warn you too, little brother. Don't participate in the upcoming dark holy ritual, I'm saying this for your own good. These words, indeed, agitated Aloys. His anger immediately flared, even though I said it out of concern, I won't let you monopolize the pure dark energy. Ignoring Aloys's struggling, Christian pointed at his chest, declaring, remember this, whoever my opponent is, they will regret facing me at the dark holy ritual. Aloys gritted his teeth, hissing, you insolent brat. Christian, unfazed, waved his hand and called, let's go, Marie. He cheerfully patted Aloys on the shoulder, think carefully, don't regret it later. Returning to Count Khazar's territory. Thurn frowned, annoyed. My brother's back and he's already at the training cave, the servant replied. Yes, my lord, he said he wants to train alone until the dark holy ritual. Please be careful, young master. At that moment, the boy spotted a familiar figure and called out. Hearing his name, Christian startled and turned around. Thurn ran over, reproachfully stating, You promised you'd fight me when you returned. Christian observed the boy in surprise. He's grown so much in such a short time, he's already at the mid-2-star stage. Wow, that's fast. He hesitated. Now, but I'm busy, I need to train, Thurn exclaimed, but. Then he realized, that's right, he's also participating in the upcoming Dark Holy Ritual, isn't he? No, that won't do. Christian advised, wait, we can spar after I'm done training. You should train too. Thurn frowned before saying, promise me you won't reschedule. Pointing resolutely, he said, it won't be like before, so watch out. Christian reluctantly replied, all right. After saying that, he turned to leave. Christian watched his brother go, thinking, what a stubborn kid. A girl appeared in his mind, her voice echoing, you promised, right? He unconsciously smiled, it reminded him of her. A while later, Christian sat alone on his bed. He stared at a dark potion. He examined it in his hand, silently calculating that he had half a month until the ritual. Then he decided to put it to his mouth and take a bite. Immediately, Christian shivered, it was incredibly bitter. He collapsed onto the bed. His body gradually felt the effects of the potion, it was more unstable than he had anticipated. Suddenly, a stream of light, black and white intertwined, swept past him, surprising Christian. Wait, that light power, I felt it inside the potion. He remembered the drowned monster. The joy Karajov experienced before dying, became part of the potion. That explains why demons have trouble absorbing it. But it's different for me. The energy gradually flowed into Christian's hand. That power spread throughout his body from his brain through his blood vessels. Now, only the light power remained. Christian felt the powerful light in his chest. Demons usually expel this energy with the help of a master, but why would I waste something this good? I'll absorb it all into my light core. The light quickly surged forward, guided by Christian, blood vessels intertwined like roots, the final knot unclear. The potion was gradually absorbed. Christian's eyes widened as he felt the aftershocks in his body. Then he closed his eyes, focusing on himself. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a voice said, Come in. A servant entered, saying, I have the report on the investigation you requested. He presented a scroll and a letter. During the dark potion hunt, a demon was summoned, but it survived. I apologize that the report is longer. I had to investigate that incident as well, but the woman received praise. It was excellent work. He placed his hand on his chest, respectfully, if you have no further questions. She took a photo of Christian from the letter. The servant added, I'll take my leave then. It was dated Eidline. She didn't respond, continuing to review the documents in her hand. Half a month later, Thurn stood knocking on a door, calling, Brother, it's the day we agreed upon. A voice from inside replied, Come in. Christian is standing preparing his clothes. Thurn's eyes widened in surprise. He turned to his younger brother, smiling brightly, Here so early in the morning, must be eager to get beaten up. Thurn looked at his brother's appearance, startled, wondering, his overwhelming aura far surpasses that of half a month ago. He hurriedly said, Don't tease me. Christian gently replied, If you want to taste my fist like that, I'll give it to you, but if I win. Christian gave him a condition that he would not participate in the dark ritual anymore. His words stunned the boy. He stammered, What did you say? Christian calmly said, As you know, the ritual is a competition. Weak people should not participate. When Thurn heard this, he frowned in frustration. He immediately brandished his weapon and shouted loudly, Shut up and take out your sword. Christian also slowly picked up the sword on the table and said it was useless to show his brother his concern. I think I have to fight until you understand. As soon as he finished, Thurn roared and charged. The result of the fight was Thurn lying on the bed, his cheeks puffed out, his bandaged arm dangling. Count Khazar sighed, reminding him, "You went a bit overboard this time, Christian." The apothecary said the boy needed to rest for half a month and avoid going into town. He looked at his youngest son and said, "I think Thurn has no choice but to wait for the next holy ritual." The boy complained, "Father." Christian suddenly suggested, "Father, can I have some time alone with Thurn?" Count Khazar didn't hesitate. "All right, I'll leave you two to talk." Now, only the two brothers remained in the room. Christian immediately teased his brother, "What's with that pout? Don't become a whiny baby like those fools, you're the one who challenged me." Thurn sulked, "Brother, don't you want to see me grow stronger?" The boy repeated how he mocked me and belittled my achievements. "And now you intentionally hurt me so I can't participate in the dark ritual." Christian sighed, "He'll start crying soon, we're getting off topic." Christian comforts him by doing so in the hope that he will become stronger and stronger for him. He explained, "If you confront me in the holy ritual you will lose your chance to have pure black power. I have to be tough because you are very stubborn, do you understand?" Christian continued, "But most importantly, pure dark energy isn't suitable for you." Thurn confusedly asked, "What do you mean?" "I gave you advice that is best suited to black and gray energy. In the same way that the power of light is divided into many different types, the power of darkness also has many types. Pure black energy is the highest attribute of dark power. Right below was gray-black energy, a type suitable for curse magic." Christian probed, "Don't you find curse magic easier than swordsmanship?" Thurn hesitantly asked, "How did you know that?" He thought, "Oh, right, I can't let him know I can see the future, I need an excuse." Then Christian chose his words carefully, "I could tell during our fight because I used all my strength. Anyway, if you absorb pure dark energy before mastering gray-dark energy, it could cause problems later if you try to learn gray-dark energy. It's not impossible, since pure dark energy is a higher attribute, but you'll be hindered by its characteristics. It will slow you down, and I know you want to become strong as quickly as possible." Christian sternly advised, "I want you to reconsider before participating in the ritual. This is sincere advice from your brother, who supports your growth." Thurn was moved by his brother's words, though he didn't express it. Then Christian gave his brother a gem, and "Here's a little something." Thurn's eyes lit up when he received it. He exclaimed excitedly, "Isn't this an ass pill? Why are you giving me such a precious item?" Christian waved his hand, "Because you're my brother. Need any other reason?" He chuckled inwardly, he'd already consumed something better. Thurn shed tears at his brother's gift. The boy grabbed it tightly and said, "If you can change to this extent, why do you act like an idiot even when Mom is on the hospital bed? Do you know how much she hurts because of you?" Christian looked at his brother with complicated eyes. Then he came and sat next to him. At that time, he didn't understand. The next morning at a temple, Christian with dark circles under his eyes walked out of the carriage complaining, "I need to warm up well, we've come so far, my whole body hurts." He couldn't stop grumbling that opening the teleportation gate would be very painful or something. "I didn't expect them to be so stingy. Just wait until I become the homeowner." At that moment Marie flew from somewhere and cried out, "Young master." She stood with her hands clasped, dreaming, "It's a date between the two of us, my heart is fluttering." Christian said harshly, "Do you have the first heart?" He observed his surroundings, thinking, "That's right, the direct family only allows me to bring one companion. I can only go with Marie because she's bound to me by a contract." Meanwhile, the carriage driver called out to Christian, "Young master, teach the direct family a lesson." Suddenly a group of people huddled together, whispering something to each other that caught Christian's attention. Seeing that, Marie immediately covered her mouth and smiled, "Young master, you are already famous." Suddenly, someone spoke up, "Welcome, young master." Those around them showed expressions of utter surprise. It turned out to be Simon, stepping forward to greet Christian. This caused the gossipers to continue their chatter. Wasn't he the head butler? Why would the head butler greet such an incompetent person? Simon scrutinized Christian's body. "You've gotten stronger in just half a month," he said coldly. "Does the Grand Elder's assistant have nothing better to do?" Simon straightened his posture and replied, "Nonsense, I'm here under the Grand Elder's orders." He explained, "The Grand Elder wishes to see you privately." Christian's eyes widened, his eyebrows raised. Simon, seeing Christian's reaction, leaned in close, winked, and said, "You don't seem very surprised, did you guess?" Christian angrily looked away, avoiding his gaze. "No, I'm quite surprised, he's still teasing me, though." Sunlight streamed through the windowpane. Simon led Christian inside and announced, "I have brought the young master, sir." A deep, gravelly voice said, "Good." Count Baron, standing beside Marion, greeted him formally, "Long time no see, Christian." His cold gaze bore down, creating an invisible pressure on Christian's shoulders. He felt like a small pawn, fixed in place by the Count's overwhelming presence. He could barely stand before him. Such an aura of dark energy emanated from him, even though Christian knew someone of his level couldn't withstand it. Christian clenched his fist. Then he bowed, respectfully greeting Duke Baron, the Grand Patriarch of the Dark Mage clan. Baron was surprised. "You're not surprised to see me like this," Christian replied. "No, I expected you to summon me beforehand." The elder wondered why. He placed his hand on his chest, a confident smile playing on his lips, "Because I'm a rising star who has emerged in the family." Baron chuckled, "Indeed, both Marion and Simon couldn't help but praise you, and yet I'm not sure what to expect from you." He glanced to the side. Yet, he maintained his composure. "No matter how important a seed you are, only time will show how you grow. You could be a sapling that withers as soon as it sprouts." "You're right," Christian mused, "I'm still far from meeting your expectations." Baron asked, "Are you saying that won't be the case in the future?" Christian answered without hesitation, "Only time will tell if this sapling can exceed expectations and become a great tree, or if it will grow into something unusual." Casting a shadow over the large tree, they both silently pictured a magnificent old tree in a lush green field. "At least, I know I won't disappoint you." After hearing this, Baron was silent for a moment. Then he turned and said, "Very well, I should have high hopes for you. You may leave now." Christian bowed slightly in acknowledgement. After Christian left, Marion approached and asked, "What do you think, father?" Baron sat down slowly, replying, "He surpasses my expectations, however. Because of his talent, his future will be full of turmoil. You know that, don't you? The winds of war are blowing towards the magical empire." Marion frowned without replying. Baron continued, "But a seed has sprouted." A wry smile appeared on Baron's lips. Marion was surprised. His gaze drifted to the distance, and he sighed, "That young lad might fulfill my long-held dream." The night before the dark sacred ceremony, several servants loudly announced the arrival of Count Khazar's eldest son. As the announcement of Christian van Baron Khazar ended, Christian entered the majestic hall. The guests whispered amongst themselves, "Why would the family elder want to meet a fool like him?" Someone nearby replied, "Who knows, he looks like a playboy." Christian listened intently, thinking to himself, "I knew it. I'm too handsome." Oh, the price of being too handsome. He puffed out his chest, proudly picturing himself as a dazzling young man. Marie praised him, "You are truly beautiful, young master." At that moment, a maid carrying a tray of drinks passed by. Christian exclaimed, "Hey, is that alcohol?" She hesitated, "Yes, but are you old enough, young master?" She then waved her hand, preventing him from reaching for a glass. The maid quickly poured him a different drink. Instead of alcohol, "How about some ginger tea?" She giggled with Marie. Standing amidst the party, he inwardly screamed, "These wretched devils, I don't want ginger tea." Just then, a loud voice announced the arrival of the young master and young lady. The doors slowly opened. A group of people began to enter, led by a handsome young man in dazzling royal attire. This was Eskid de Baron, the second young master. Following him was First Lady Julianne de Baron. The girl with short, stylish hair is Second Lady Jupian de Baron. Last was Miss Ak de Baron, the third young master. The four of them walked into the hall one after another, witnessed by Christian. He thought of the mysterious figure with long white hair, that insane first young master, had he joined? Then he shifted his thoughts to the person in front of him. What would he say? Eskid, to me, Christian, the victim of his games, the one whose honor he had tarnished. But in the end, Eskid simply walked past him without hesitation. Christian fumed silently, cursing the scoundrel. He couldn't even look me in the eye after what he did to me. I guess I was nothing more than an ant to him then. The scent of an unnamed flower wafted over. Julianne's turn came to pass Christian. He watched her back and sized up Miss Julianne. Remembering Mary's warning to be careful with the first miss, Christian concluded he didn't sense anything unusual. He turned, leaning against something, and left. I'll investigate that later. This is enough reconnaissance for one day. It's time to go back and prepare for the ceremony. Suddenly, a man appeared. Greetings, young Master Christian, he said. He formally introduced himself. My name is For. I am a summoner working for young Master Loin. Christian narrowed his eyes, not hiding his disgust. He smirked. For explained, seemingly privately, but loud enough for those around to hear. I hear an untrustworthy individual will be attending tomorrow's Dark Heaven ceremony. I'm worried those who don't meet the criteria will cause trouble and tarnish the honor of the Dark Mage clan. Christian's voice hardened. You mean I don't meet the criteria? For met his gaze. Simply prove to me you are qualified. If you don't like that, then you should stand up and prove yourself. From behind him. On the upper floor of the hall, Loin was closely watching the situation below. Christian bit his lip. This was clearly a provocation. Perhaps there will be many more unpleasantries at this party. He set down his ginger tea. Very well, I will prove it. Now, show me your tricks. For, he seemed surprised. Here, and you don't even have any equipment. Christian twisted his mouth slightly. You think I'd use weapons against someone like you? Hearing this, For gritted his teeth. You'll regret this. Christian shrugged nonchalantly. Really? I think you'll be the one regretting it. On the other side of the hall, the first and second misses watched the spectacle intently. Julianne offered a meaningful smile. The guests' faces turned pale at the sight before them. For was being relentlessly attacked by countless evil spirits. On the other hand, Christian was enjoying a treatment better than an emperor's, from the remaining evil spirits. The guests couldn't believe their eyes. What did I just see? They recalled what had just happened. So the summoner had started by summoning evil spirits. For gestured wildly. Tried dealing with the evil spirits I summoned. But with a flick of his wrist, the evil spirits immediately turned on the summoner. Looking at Christian leisurely eating seeds while the evil spirits massaged his shoulders and neck, everyone had the same question. How could he gain control so quickly? Once the evil spirits dispersed, Christian stood up and asked, was that young Master Loin's will just now? As the heir to the Dark Mage clan, that's really pathetic. Loin's lips tightened in furious anger. He continued to provoke. If you're unhappy, you should challenge me openly. Loin quickly denied responsibility. This has nothing to do with me. Christian sighed. Even a fool wouldn't believe that lie, but I'll believe you this time. For, on the other hand, was battered and bruised, struggling to his feet, calling out, young master. Having said what he needed to say, Christian turned and left. See you at the Dark Heaven ceremony. He frowned, muttering to himself, that cowardly brat. Next time, I'll teach you what politeness is. On the day of the Dark Heaven ceremony. Christian yawned languidly. Aloys approached, questioning, aren't you even a little worried? You caused such a commotion yesterday. Christian countered, why are you here? I warned you, you little brat. He was exasperated. How dare you delay the Dark Heaven ceremony, you maniac. At that moment, someone descended the stairs. Loin, majestic in his uniform, entered the hall. Christian saw him and clenched his fist. That brat, just you wait and see. A strange voice suddenly rang out. Everyone assembled. A dwarf holding a wand appeared and bowed slightly, introducing, I am Sebastian, the deputy butler in charge of the main building. I will now lead everyone to the sanctuary where the dark ritual will take place. He tapped his stick on the floor. Immediately, a deep passage appeared beneath their feet. Aloys exclaimed in shock, "Is it underground? Christian, do you have your own guesses? Is this some kind of illusion magic that creates imaginary space?" Sebastian went down first. In the blink of an eye, he had covered more than half the distance. The top student rushed down, "Hurry up, he's leaving us behind." The corridor below grew hazy, almost transparent. Sebastian still led the way, while the children followed. Everyone was tired, out of breath, sweat running down their faces. "This is so strange. Haven't we gone underground? So why is there such a steep slope?" The path was extremely uneven, everyone struggled to overcome the raised patches of earth, draining their strength. But Sebastian still leisurely urged, "Hurry up. This ground will not support you forever." As soon as he finished speaking, a contestant lost his footing. They plunged into a bottomless pit, leaving only echoing screams. The remaining contestants cried out in alarm, "What?" Sebastian ignored the commotion and said since we were late, would hurry home now. After saying that, he really ran away, leaving behind smoke for the contestants to breathe. A short time later, another person fell. Loin ran, jeering, "The losers can't keep up, pathetic insects." But just saw Christian go ahead. He couldn't help but gasp at how he wasn't even sweating. Christian raised his voice provocatively, "Oh, I'm out of breath, turns out you're just talking and have no skills at all. As the heir of the family, you have to be better than this, haven't they given you all kinds of supplements?" Loin gritted her teeth when she heard that and was angry. Christian looked back at Aloys and the others, who seemed about to melt from sweat. "These idiots, their ignorance is only causing their bodies to suffer, running their hardest in this illusory space is such a waste of effort." No matter how hard he tried, Christian's stamina wasn't depleted at all. "With just a single spell, you can become invincible here," he muttered. Sebastian looked behind him. I laughed and thought he must be a Christian young master. A while later. In a large hall. On the wall were glass patterns like water waves and brightly lit chandeliers, leaving only the four candidates and the sound of panting. Aloys looked up and asked, "How come you're completely fine?" Christian scoffed, "Then you should train your body more, don't always ride around on magical beasts." A glittering stone suddenly appeared, and a voice emanated from it, welcoming them. A stream of pure white power crept over each person's shoulders, leading towards a girl with a dark face. "As everyone knows, this is a holy place where the purest black energy erupts continuously, so we call it Holy Blackness. Rihu, the manager of this holy place, welcomes young masters and young ladies." She continued, explaining their task. "Today, what you must do is claim the great pure darkness, like the third-rank demon king, the destroyer of darkness, the ancestor of the dark demon clan." An arrow of light crept toward their feet. Rihu waved his hand, making it point to each person one by one. At this time, from the middle of the room, 4 paths had been drawn for each contestant. Rihu continued, "However, that amount is not enough for all of you to share. And the monsters inside will test your qualifications." Christian raises his hand. "So you're saying that everything depends on who comes first?" Rihu nodded yes, he is indeed very knowledgeable, young Master Christian. He further wondered if an unexpected incident occurred between contestants during the ritual, would they be eliminated? Rihu replied, "Since each of you will be on a different path, you should not encounter each other. But in the rare case that you meet each other, it's best to avoid conflict, it wastes time and gives the other person an advantage." At this time, a number 4 appeared above her head. Then it switches back to red number 3. Rihu advised you should concentrate instead. The number has changed back to 2. She relied on her own safety. And when number 1 comes up, Loin got into a ready position. Then they all dashed off as Rihu wished them good luck. 2 people remained in the hall. Sebastian turned to ask, "Want to bet a little blood to see who will win?" But before he finished, the other person was gone. "He's stomping his feet and ignoring me like that, so cold." At this time, in the gloomy corridor, a contestant, his neck tucked in, ran for his life. At the exit appeared countless bloodthirsty eyes. The wolf monster growled, exhaling fire from its mouth. It charged forward aggressively and Lo-I swung his arm, ready to fight. He quickly struck at the wolf's weak points, eliminating all opponents with just a few simple swings. Lo-I confidently thought, at most, they're only level 2 monsters, compared to me, a superior level 2, they're nothing. Even so, that bastard must be struggling, he thought, imagining Christian, covered in blood and wounds, fighting alone. According to the rules, each path should have the same distance and challenges. But I bribed a mage so that only Christian's path would have much stronger monsters. Christian would inadvertently encounter several stronger monsters and then meet a tragic end. Because any death in the black magic holy ritual is ignored, this will be your grave, Loin smugly thought of his victory. Before him now was a large, heavy door. The door leading to the sanctuary. He was confident that he would be the first to arrive. At that moment, a voice rang out, "You're too slow, what were you wasting your time on?" Loin was startled to see Christian calmly standing with his arms crossed. "I thought I'd die of boredom waiting so long." Loin bewilderedly asked, "How did you get here so fast?" He scratched his head and replied, "Nothing difficult." He was incredibly surprised. "No way, your path should have had stronger monsters." Suddenly realizing his slip, Loin quickly covered his mouth. Christian smiled and said, "No wonder. I was hit harder than usual, turns out it was because of you." He cracked his knuckles, recalling the huge corpses of the monsters he had slain. Loin vehemently retorted, "What did you just say? Who do you think you are?" But Christian waved his hand, "There are only 2 of us here, no need for formalities." Loin frowned, raising his hand to summon dark thorny circles. "Damn arrogant fool, confrontation between contestants during the ritual is forbidden. But I'll crush you right here and now." With that, he used all his strength to swing at his opponent. Christian quickly spun, dodging the blow. He watched, analyzing the magic combat technique. A fighting technique that makes magical power explode at close range or paralyzes the opponent by breaking their joints. Loin continuously swung fists enveloped in dark magic, aiming at Christian's face, but he never landed a hit. He clicked his tongue, cursing the nimble rat, relentlessly charging forward. He noticed his unguarded hand. Immediately charging towards it, "I'll break you." At that moment, Christian smiled and said, "You fool." He reached out and grabbed Loin's wrist. Twisting it behind his back, a cracking sound echoed. "Don't cry if it hurts," Christian smirked triumphantly. The feeling sent Loin into unbearable pain. A prolonged scream echoed through the air thick with the smell of blood. A while later, a boy with blonde hair, panting, ran up, "Am I late?" But upon seeing the 2 unconscious bodies at Christian's feet, Alois gasped, "Did you do this?" He raised an eyebrow, reproaching him for being late. Christian conceded, "Now you faint yourself, or should I beat you until you faint?" Alois, hearing this, readily prepared his summoning circle. "I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing, come on." But then he finally fell over and Christian exclaimed, "Oh, it feels familiar. In another year, the first great war against the Alliance will break out. I need to have the Dark Demon clan under my control before then." Christian waved his hand, saying, "For that reason, I can't share even a bit of dark power with you guys. It's all cleaned up now. It's time to possess the dark power." Christian slowly pushed open the door leading to the sanctuary. Dark power, the strength that grants demons the ability to become truly transcendent beings. The head elder of the clan, said to have absorbed 80% of the dark power, is one of the strongest people alive among the demon emperors. The destroyer of darkness also absorbed over 90% of pure dark energy to become the demon king. That means, if I can make that 100% pure dark energy mine, then I can surpass even the position of the demon emperor. Christian stood before the huge, hovering purple-black sphere. He reached towards it, and the power immediately surged into his body. At that moment, in the meeting room, the person sitting on the right stammered, "Unbelievable. Everyone except Christian has been eliminated. This is an extremely serious problem. Young Master Loin is in a very difficult situation. The elite supervisor speculated, perhaps he used a trick, like a forbidden magical artifact. The knight beside him agreed, yes, a thorough investigation needs to be conducted. Those opposite them said it was unnecessary. Two startled servants, second Miss Jupian spoke sternly, that scoundrel couldn't have possibly reached the sanctuary. The truth is, he hasn't come out of the sanctuary in 2 days, meaning. Unless that's the time needed to absorb all the sacred darkness due to its mass. He might have been crushed by the sacred darkness and died. She stated her opinion, even the head elder of the clan has a certain limit in absorbing dark power, there's no doubt, that guy is definitely dead. There won't even be a body left. Saying this, she stood up from her chair. The other two watched Jupian leave without a word. Outside the meeting room, Jupian gritted her teeth in anger, silently vowing that even if he survived, she would kill him herself. She recalled the scene in the square that day, when her father died in battle with his allies. Loin and I were raised by my uncle, the Duke of Langham, that's why my footing within the clan's land has never been secure, and because Loin can't absorb dark power, no one will support him becoming the heir. Jupian left, but her heart was filled with rage. Christian, I will repay you for this humiliation. In the hallway, a young maid gossiped, so that good-for-nothing is still not out. An older maid waved her hand, he's probably dead, it's punishment for being too greedy and not knowing his place. They turned to look towards the window where Marie was sitting, admiring the scenery, and gossiped, look over there, that soul is waiting for her master to return, but it seems like she's about to meet her master's final soul too. At that, a surge of power shot out, piercing the bag the maid was carrying. Marie floated above them, my heart always races while waiting for the young master, but if you continue to meddle in my affairs, you will be the ones I torment, and I will turn you into souls under my control, understand? Marie's face became terrifying, her mouth stretching wide to her ears. The two maids screamed in terror. They scrambled away, yes, we understand. Then Marie, her eyes glistening with tears, raised her head. She silently prayed, please come back quickly, a man who keeps a young lady waiting is not cool at all. At this moment, Christian was struggling, his brows furrowed. He was suspended in an indefinite space, an endless darkness sucking the life out of him, only 70%, this is harder than I thought. Then he clenched his fist, I have to endure somehow, the real test will start around 90. If I absorb too much and exceed my capacity, my core will shatter, and I'll die here before the real war begins. Damn it, Christian realized this was true. His mind drifted to a heart glittering like a jewel. Dragons have the largest capacity for their cores, if only for a few minutes, I can mimic its heart. Christian closed his eyes, focusing on his new idea. The power slowly flowed into his heart. But it caused some damage. Christian cried out in pain, no, I have to stop, this is my limit. A voice suddenly echoed, do you need help? A sparkling blue light appeared, forming a figure before Christian. He looked at the demon figure before him. Mefina, how can a demon be in this space? Mefina explained, the power of demons is communication with darkness, this is no problem for me. That's why I can help you with this without any conditions. Christian warily wondered why. She giggled and just liked it, take my hand and absorb all the holy black. A week later, in the Duke Baron's expansive garden, the old man placed his teacup on the table. Clicking his tongue, he said, it'll be difficult for me to say that the boy is still alive after such a long time without any information. Marion stood beside him, frowning, such an intelligent boy, how could he be so greedy and careless, how could he? Simon, standing opposite, smiled and replied, the Baron Langham agrees with you. He wishes to close the entrance to the holy ground early, will you give the order? Baron leaned forward slightly, that wicked scoundrel dares to test this old man. Do you think that boy is still alive? Simon mumbled in reply, well, I'd say the probability is 0. But isn't he a very interesting person? A delighted smile appeared on his face. Baron pursed his lips, observing for a while before finally deciding, one day. Tell him to keep it open for one more day. Marion breathed a sigh of relief. As you command, my lord.